let's take a look through this mock example how an app like AVAIL could potentially leverage AVAIL Nexus to simplify user experience, regardless of where they have their assets. In this mock example, no matter where the assets are, they are treated as one unified balance across all chains. How do we do it, right? So in this mock front end that we have of AVAIL, we connect our wallet. All right, so we've connected our wallet, and as you can see, this is a layout that is pretty familiar to most of you out there. We've got an Ethereum market, a BNB market, a Polygon market, and a base market. And we can do all sorts of stuff here, right? We have all these assets to supply. We can borrow all of these assets, and this is pretty familiar to all of you. But what AVAIL Nexus enables you to do is allows you to have a unified balance on this app, which means that regardless of which chain you are in or you have your funds on, you are able to participate in all the other different markets without having to manually bridge your assets. So let's take an example, right? So in this case, I've got ETH on Ethereum, even on BNB and Polygon. I'm going to hit supply, and I'm going to supply maybe around 1,200. What you'll notice here is that we are sourcing ETH from 3 different chains. In this case, Ethereum, BNB, and Polygon. What this means is that we need to sign 3 different transactions to send the funds from the 3 different chains to Ethereum. So we're going to supply 1,200 ETH. So when MetaMask pops up, we get 3 different signature requests. One to transfer the funds directly on Ethereum, in this case 400 ETH. We then get a BNB chain for 300 ETH. And finally, we have the request to send our ETH from Polygon to the Ethereum market and deposit it over there. So we hit confirm for that as well. That message is then being transmitted across all the chains via Nexus, and we wait for Nexus to update that state and to aggregate the state transitions of all the other chains that happened asynchronously because all rollups have different block times. And then finally, the deposit is complete, right? And once that is complete, you can see that we have 1.2k ETH, almost worth $2.5 million. And that's pretty cool. And even though we supplied ETH from 3 different chains, we have deposited it on a single chain, right? And we haven't done any manual bridging. We have not even thought of the bridging process. It all happens behind the scenes, all handled by the application itself, right? So now, if for example, I want to now borrow some asset on the base market, right? I can do that as well with the collateral that I have on Ethereum, right? Right now I have ETH on Ethereum and I want to borrow USDC on base. I can do that on the base market. I go to borrow and I say I want to borrow around $100,000 and I'm going to borrow that much. So again, a message is being passed to Nexus as the state transaction happens, and it is being updated across all of the rollups, and the borrow is complete. What happened behind the scenes again was a request was sent via Nexus. Nexus waits for the liquidity to be transferred on chain. And since this is the same chain, it just waits for the state transition to happen on the same chain itself. And once the final confirmation is given, Nexus enables the borrow on the specified chain. What if I want to go to the Polygon market and also borrow some USDC from there? I can do that as well. I'm going to borrow again another 10,000 USDC. Again, all through Nexus. I'm going to sign a borrow message, confirm it. It sends a request via Nexus. It updates the state of the rollups and aggregates all of the states of different rollups and confirms the transaction. Done. And as you can see here now, I have USDC 100,000 from base and 10,000 from Polygon, and that's also pretty cool.